This is going to be my campsite for tonight. That tree and that tree there. You can see the river behind me, so pretty close. But I got a new hammock, and let's see how it works tonight. I'm pretty excited about it. Show you guys my awesome hammock setup. Got the toggle. Ha ha ha. The toggle. I'm using the E&O doublenest. It's the CAMO model. I just love CAMO. I guess it's because I'm a redneck. I'm not really sure, but so I'm using it. It's a little bit heavier than my ultralight Grand Trunks, but it's more expensive, made out of better material, and I'm hoping it'll sleep me a little better because it's got a lot more material than my other one does. But I got some whoopee slings here. One just fell on the ground, and I've got to soup this one up. I haven't used it yet, so I've got to get everything ready for it. So next time when I do it, I just quick deploy it. I also got some snake skins from Hennessy, and I've got to test these out. I've never used snake skins before, but I've heard it's a lot better than using stuffed sacks constantly, so let's hope it works. Here it is, February, and it's super hot out here. I mean, obviously there's snow on the ground. It's probably about 40 degrees, but I've acclimated already this season, so you know, I'm not that cold right now. I managed to get my tarp set up on here and got my hammock set up. What I decided to do with my snake skins on each end of this is not to attach my hammock to it, because I can stuff my hammock separately. And also that puts less tension on the snake skins and the tarp as well, from what I figured out, and I'll work with it in the future. But for now, the snake skins are set up solely on the tarp, which kind of works out in my favor too, because if I decide to stargaze in the summer months, you know, I can, of course, just slide that tarp together, and if it starts raining on me, all I gotta do is just pull that apart real quick, and within a minute I should have my tarp set up. So it's a huge plus because I've got down bags and they cannot get wet. However, after a little while of getting this together, I finally got my tarp set up. I'm pretty happy with it. Later tonight, if it gets colder, I may put it down and zip my doors shut and stuff on it. But for now, I'm gonna leave it open because I'm gonna be doing a lot of work around here. I've got a few hours until it gets dark, and I'm hoping to take my throw net down there and try to catch some trout or something. If I don't catch anything, there's a lot of birds around. I do have my blowgun back here, so we might be able to get some dinner that way. And if not, we're stuck with just potatoes and, I guess, butter tonight. So let's do this. So before I get actually on the road and start getting some food in, I'm going to go ahead and get my camera gear charged up. And this is a Instapark 10-watt solar panel. It's got 3 different solar panels on it, and in the back it's got a built-in USB plug point on it. And I brought an extra USB cord, and I just realized I didn't need to because I've got a USB cord in here still, which is not a problem. And what I'll do is I'll simply just go ahead and plug this into my camera that I'm using, and I can hang this from the bottom of my tripod, and it should get a relatively good amount of sun. As you can tell, I'm getting quite a bit of sun on here right now. My face very white. So yeah, I think we should do some good charging with this, hopefully. Finally made it down here to the river, just using a regular net. It's like a 6 or 7 foot net. Honestly, this is my first time ever really using that net. I've used it earlier today, just a couple cast out just to try outs, but I don't really know much about casting nets, so it's just a learning thing. I brought the bucket because it's multiple things. It's a container, but I can also put my fish in here. And I brought some fishing line with me, and I can make some hooks and stuff, and if I decide to catch some minnows or something like that, there's no problem with me using those as bait to catch something a little bit bigger, because this is one of the deeper holes right here, so there should be something within this area, hopefully. Pretty fast flowing water though, so I may not catch something, but you never know until you try. Let's just hope I didn't tangle this up the last time I used it. That would make for an aggravating evening. I love fish nets though. They're one of the easiest ways to secure food, and water is the best way to secure food if you're nearby water, of course. Just basic shit I've learned is take the little noose at the end, make an actual noose knot out of it, and then kind of tighten that around your hand so when you sling it, it doesn't like, it may jerk your hand a little, but I'd rather jerk my hand than lose a $50 or $60 net, you know. And then you just get it in your hand, kind of get it ready. Some people go around their elbows and stuff, but this seems fine for me. Just find out whatever works for you. I can't really teach on the net yet, honestly. I mean, like I said, I've never really used them too much. It's just something I'm not accustomed myself to, but there's definitely a first time to everything, and I'm usually a pretty quick learner, so let's just hope. Let's get some of these leaves out of here. See how we do. Oh yeah, that was a good throw. And then we'll let it get down, and then you just jerk real hard and fast on it so nothing can escape out. And not a thing. But that's why you just keep trying and trying and trying. Make sure you're untangled every time. Terrible throw. I could, you know, very easily head down here to the rapids and set up a trap with this thing. It's plenty wide enough, set up a funnel trap. However, unfortunately, this time of the year, conservation laws do not allow that, so it is illegal for me to trap right now with fish nets and stuff. So to prevent, you know, legal repercussion, I'd rather not do that. During the summertime, this is a very hot spot. You can actually get a vehicle down here during the summertime. And this is, I would be underwater right now. The bank right here is the water levels, but during the winter months, it all drops out because the lake lets out. It's one of the deepest dams around here, one of the biggest earth dams on the east coast actually, is this river flows into it. So it gets pretty good size. I mean, there's quite a bit of fish in here. It's just so deep in certain spots and so shallow in others. But there's a pretty good bird over there I'd like to get with my blowgun. That'd be a good dinner. I wouldn't even have to worry about wasting calories on this thing. Too many times wasted down here. Not enough food to replace the calories wasting on this. So for now, I'm gonna put this away, and I guess early in the morning, whenever the fish would start moving again a little bit better, I can, you know, maybe come out with this. Either way, I'm gonna go ahead and package it away so it does not get tangled, and just by doing that, I just fold it together in a very nice and neat style, and just wrap the rope around it. And I'll just place it right back down in the bucket that I brought with me, and that's just to make sure it's good. It sucks to backpack with this thing. It's definitely not ultra lightweight, but at the same time, it is an excellent way to get some good food very quickly and very easily. And it just fits right down in there. And that's also your bait bucket as well. So if you don't have a fish net, I'd suggest getting one. I can't wait till it warms up a little bit and the fish start moving a little better, and I can slay the bluegill, the trout. I've heard of people catching bass and they use them with these river canals. I mean, red eyes and stuff like that, just so easy to catch. Let's head back up here to the hammock and see what we can do. But before we head back, I would like to go ahead and gather some water. The real issue here is this water is freezing cold, and hypothermia is very real, so I've got to be very careful not to fall in here, of course. Might help I blow some air into that first, I suppose. I think it holds about 1.5 liters or 2 liters. I think it's just 1 liter. It is. But 1 liter's plenty enough for me tonight, and I can come right back down here and get more if I need to. A little less. I'm just going to use my Sawyer filter. I'm not going to boil this or anything, no need to. Sawyer's the way to go. Screws right onto these little things. It even comes with a little carabiner. There's absolutely nothing better than being out in the woods, even if it's solo on a hammock camping trip in the middle of winter. It's still a beautiful thing, and you know, as long as you can thrive, survive, and live out here, you're good to go. That's what it's all about, you know. If you can keep it together up here, you can keep it together here, you're good to go. These woods is, you know, our home. It's what we come from. It's what we'll go to. Everything we have in existence comes from this. I went ahead and got some birch bark, which you can see here. There's a birch tree that's fallen over there. Went ahead and gathered some of it, and I've got some of my kindling ready to go. Hoping to get a fire going. I'm going to use a flint for my fire starter tonight, or ferro rod, not flint. What I've done is I've just got a piece of bark and laid it down. It's just dry bark, and I went ahead and put my tinder and stuff on top of it. And that's just to prevent it from getting to the cold ground. Let's just see what we can do here. Birch bark usually catches pretty easily. Almost. Ferrocerium rods burn at about 3,000 degrees. So anything that's got a very low combustion rate to it should catch relatively easily, birch bark being one of them. Only problem I've got with this birch bark right now is, wait, I got an ember. It went out though. So what I've got, the biggest problem is I don't have enough fibrous stuff in it, so I'm just going to take and just run it through my hands and just kind of break that up just a little bit. Place it right back on there. Try again. There we go. Simple as that. That's all you gotta do. And what we'll do is we'll just get this broken down stuff and start adding it on top. Birch is one of the best trees to use for fires. Pine as well, if you can get the resinous kind, and make a pitch out of it. Hopefully get the fire going tonight. One thing about a fire pit for cooking, you don't need huge flames. It's mostly about a coal bed. So we try to stack all the wood in one spot and get a good coal bed going. However, for this one, I'm going to use it for heat as well, so I'm going to build it up a little bit, and I can still cook this when I'm out here camping, because I like to take these potatoes. I usually cut off the ends of it, just the very biggest end. And typically it's a good idea to do this away from your campsite. I am cooking relatively close to my campsite tonight, but I think I should be alright where I'm at. General rule of thumb is about 100 yards or so. 100, yeah. But I just like slicing up these potatoes in here and then just covering it with a ton of butter and or any kind of oil that you can process down while you're out here, I guess. But if you're going to have potatoes, you're probably going to have butter, honestly. And then taking something like Spam or some other meat and making what's pretty much called a hobo. You can put carrots and stuff in here as well, and they're delicious. And you just put it in beside a fire. You don't put it directly in any flames or anything. You just kind of let it heat off the radiation of the fire. Another thing I like to do is also, every single time I have my emergency kit with me, I'll always have some aluminum foil in it. And whenever I use my aluminum foil, I just go ahead and replace it when I get home. It's pretty cheap, and it's got so many uses. You can use it like an emergency blanket if you had to. Of course, it's not going to cover like a full body, so you couldn't really make a shelter out of it, but you can use it to cover around your neck or your head or something like that, and that would definitely reflect some heat back onto you. It's absolutely better than nothing, so just the general idea behind it. And it's real lightweight, packs up super tiny for a very large amount. Like, I'm not going to use much off this, hopefully. But gotta get my butter in here. So I went ahead and tore off some of mine. Also, you can reuse aluminum foil while you're out here too, which is a great thing. So, like I said, I'm going to try not to use a whole lot of this, but at the same time it doesn't hurt to bundle it up. So I am using a lot of potatoes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cook my potatoes first in here, and what that will do is get my potatoes a little bit softer, and then I'll add my Spam into it, because if I just add my Spam or my meat or whatever I got in here already, what will happen is it will just burn the meat. So since I have this little package here, as you can see, the fire behind me is relatively low right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set it right over here, just across this crossroads. And what that will do is that will radiate all the heat onto it, and should be pretty good. So let's wait for that to cook. It usually takes about 30 minutes to an hour for this to get fully done. It takes a while, but you can do other things while you're doing that. Prep your fire, get warmed up, things like that. It's getting cold. Here it is. Got potatoes and Spam together, and it's pretty good. That butter melted in there and just flavored everything up just perfectly. It's a great meal. It's dark. And this is the part that sucks about being alone when you're out here, is being in the dark. Like, throughout the day you can keep yourself busy, do things, but in the dark you just gotta lay there and listen to every little crick and crack, but get used to it after a while. It's good. Huh. I didn't know I had dirt on my nose. That looks pretty bad. That's what I get for being in the outdoors. Gotta look pretty for you guys. So this double nest is fantastic. It's really cozy. I can actually throw it over top of myself here, and I can have a mosquito net out of this if I wanted to. I'm going to pretty much leave it open for now though. But it is nice, I can say that. I know a lot of people who will take the pouch here and put a water bottle or something in it, and they'll lay with their head on the other side, slant it this way, and they'll actually throw this over, and that will hold this material over top of you. But the way I've got my feet and stuff in here right now, I mean, it's pretty nice. I like it. It's really good. I'm hanging pretty low to the ground tonight. Kind of sucks being solo, but you gotta get out here, you gotta have fun. And I didn't bring a pistol or anything, but if anything was to mess with me, which I highly doubt it will, all I gotta do is just blind the crap out of them and stab them a few times. I ain't worried about it though. Like I said, camping solo is one of those things that people fear a lot, but it's not really that bad. Once you get out here and have fun with it, realize that most things ain't going to want to mess with you, just like they don't want you messing with them. Just have fun and enjoy your night. I'm going to go to sleep. It's probably about 8 o'clock or so p.m. And I think it gets daylight about 6 or 7ish. And the days are getting longer now, which is nice. But try to conserve some battery on my camera. And I got a book to read. Wild Edibles. It's a great book. I wish they had more color to it. There are some illustrations that have colors in it, but some of these beginner ones don't. And I like colors. Just gives me an idea of what to look for better. However, in the wintertime, edibles are few and far between. But it is doable. Great book if you guys haven't read it yet, by the way. I'll show you the cover of it.